رسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. فيا عباد الله, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has obligated upon us the 5 daily prayers. These 5 daily prayers were obligated on the night of Al-Isra wal-Mi'raj, when the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was taken up to the heavens, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala obligated the 5 daily prayers. These 5 prayers, they are the pillar of Islam, the second highest pillar of Islam. فالصلاة هي عمود الإسلام وهي الركن الثاني من أركان الإسلام وأن من حافظ عليها حفظ دينه ومن ضيعها فقد ضيع دينه. That this prayer is the second pillar of Islam. So whomsoever guards over it, then they have guarded over their religion. But whomsoever wastes it and abandons it and does not take care of it, then they have not taken care of their religion. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran, وَأَقِمِ الصَّلَاةَ إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ تَنْهَى عَنِ الْفَحْشَاءِ وَالْمُنكَرِ وَلَذِكْرُ اللَّهِ أَكْبَرُ وَاللَّهُ يَعْلَمُ مَا تَصْنَعُونَ. Establish the prayer, for indeed the prayer prohibits from the lewd and evil acts. Allah tells us in the Quran that the prayer is a means of fortifying you against sins. It is a means of strengthening you so that you do not fall into the haram and the wrong. الصلاة هي أول ما يحاسب عنه العبد يوم القيامة من عمله. The prayer is also the first thing that a servant will be held accountable for from his actions on the day of judgment. فَإِنْ قُبِلَتْ قُبِلَ سَائِرُ عَمَلِهِ. So if the prayer of a servant is accepted, then the rest of his actions will be accepted. وَإِنْ رُدَّتْ رُدَّ سَائِرُ عَمَلِهِ. But if your prayer is rejected, you have not established your prayer and taken care of it, then the rest of your actions will be rejected also. Allah mentioned in the Quran, حافظوا على الصلوات والصلاة الوسطى وقوموا لله قانتين. Guard over the prayers and the middle prayer and stand in subservience to Allah. many commandments in the Quran informing us of the obligation of this prayer. In another ayah, Allah mentioned, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ أُولَئِكَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ مُكْرَمُونَ. Those who guard over their prayer, then they will be in paradise ennobled. They will be ennobled and honored in paradise. Those who used to guard over and preserve and take care of their obligation of the prayer. In other ayat, وَالَّذِينَ هُمْ عَلَى صَلَوَاتِهِمْ يُحَافِظُونَ أُولَئِكَ هُمُ الْوَارِثُونَ الَّذِينَ يَرِثُونَ الْفِرْدَوْسَ هُمْ فِيهَا خَالِدُونَ. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala telling us that those who will enter into paradise, into Firdaus, they are those who guarded over their prayers. And the prayer is not something that can be excused under any circumstances. Even if a person is sick or ill, they must still pray. In a hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned, يُصَلِّي الْمَرِيضُ قَائِمًا فَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَقَاعِدًا فَإِنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ فَعَلَى جَنْبٍ وفي رواية فإن لم يستطع فمستلقيا ورجلاه إلى القبلة. That a person who is sick is not excused from the prayer. He must still pray standing up. But if he's not capable because of his sickness or illness or injury, then he can pray sitting down. And if he's not even capable to sit up, then he can pray lying down. And in one narration, lying down and the feet towards the Qibla. Meaning the prayer is not excused under any circumstances. Even if you are ill, you must still pray. If you cannot stand up, then sit and pray. If you cannot even sit, then lie down and pray. The prayer is not excused even in the time of fear. When the Muslims, they were in jihad and the enemy is upon them, in fear they were, but the prayer was not excused. It mentions once again in the Quran, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ فَرِجَالًا أَوْ رُكْبَانًا. That if you are in fear, then pray upon your legs standing or upon your riding animals. فَإِذَا أَمِنْتُمْ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَمَا عَلَّمَكُمْ مَا لَمْ تَكُونُوا تَعْلَمُونَ. And then when you are in a state of safety, then remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He taught you. And also it mentions in other ayat, وَإِذَا كُنْتَ فِيهِمْ فَأَقَمْتَ لَهُمُ الصَّلَاةِ. These ayat, Allah tells you how to establish the prayer when fear is upon you. وَإِذَا كُنْتَ فِيهِمْ فَأَقَمْتَ لَهُمُ الصَّلَاةِ فَلْتَقُمْ طَائِفَةٌ مِّنْهُمْ مَعَكَ وَلْيَأْخُذُوا أَسْلِحَتَهُمْ فإذا سجدوا فليكونوا من ورائكم ولتأتي طائفة أخرى لم يصلوا فليصلوا معك وليأخذوا حذرهم وأسلحتهم ود الذين كفروا لو تغفلون عن أسلحتكم وأمتعتكم فيميلون عليكم ميلة واحدة. In these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us the description, the sifa of how you pray when you are in fear. So the point is, even in times of fear, then you are not excused from the prayer. It is not dropped. You must still pray in that different method of praying. فَالصَّلَاةُ لَا تَسْقُطُ لَا عَنِ الْمَرِيضِ وَلَا تَسْقُطُ عَنِ الْخَائِفِ وَلَا تَسْقُطُ عَنِ الْمُسَافِرِ. And neither is the prayer excused from someone who is traveling. If you are on a journey traveling, you must still pray, but you have the rukhsah to do the combination of the prayers, al-jama', to combine between the prayers and to shorten the prayers. Those affairs are permissible, but you must still establish the prayer. وَإِذَا ضَرَبْتُمْ فِي الْأَرْضِ فَلَيْسَ عَلَيْكُمْ جُنَاحٌ أَن تَقْصُرُوا مِنَ الصَّلَاةِ. That if you are traveling upon the land, then there is no harm upon you, there is no issue upon you to shorten the prayer. So you are allowed to shorten the prayer, you are allowed to combine the prayer, but you must pray. This indicates how important this action is, how important this pillar of Islam is. Some of the Salaf, they used to say, أول ما تفقدون من دينكم الأمانة وآخر ما تفقدون منه الصلاة. This is reported from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam that the first thing you will lose from your religion is trustworthiness, and the last thing that you lose from your religion is the prayer. Meaning, once you abandon the prayer, then you have lost your religion. And there are many ahadith which indicate that العهد الذي بيننا وبينهما الصلاة فمن تركها فقد كفر وفي رواية فقد أشرك. That the covenant or the barrier between us and them is the prayer. Between the believers and the non-believers is the prayer. So whomsoever abandons it, then they have committed kufr or shirk. That is the severity of the one who abandons the prayer. فَيَا عِبَادَ اللَّهِ حَافِظُوا عَلَى صَلَوَاتِكُمْ أَدُّوهَا كَمَا أَمَرَكُمُ اللَّهُ فِي أَوْقَاتِهَا وَمَعَ جَمَاعَةِ الْمُسْلِمِينَ فَإِنَّ الْكُفَّارَ يَوْمَ الْقِيَامَةِ إِذَا سُئِلُوا ما سلككم في سقر. يعني ما هو السبب الذي أدخلكم النار؟ قالوا لم نك من المصلين. So guard over your prayers and remember what Allah mentioned to us about the disbelievers, that on Yawm al-Qiyamah, when they are in the hellfire, it will be said to them, what caused you to enter the hellfire? They will say, we did not used to be from the ones who pray. They did not used to pray, they were not upon Tawheed, they did not accept the Shahadatain, and they did not pray. And so their abandonment of this religion meant that they ended up in the hellfire. That's why some of the Salaf, they said, from all of the different actions of ibadah in the religion, there is only one they used to say, if you leave it, you become a kafir. And that is the prayer. The one who abandons the prayer, many of the Salaf, they used to say this is kufr for the one who does not pray. As for the one, man jahada wujub as-salah, the one who rejects the obligation of the prayer, هذا كافر بالإجماع. That is a disbeliever by consensus. But the one, man takasala anha, tahawana anha, the one who's lazy though and doesn't pray, هذا يستتاب. You tell him and advise him and tell him to pray. Then the scholars, they say, if he refuses, he still does not pray, then many scholars, they say he has also committed kufr. And you know, in the books of the scholars, in the books of the fuqaha, they say the Muslim who abandons the prayer, who doesn't pray, they say when he dies, do not bury him in the Muslim graveyard. They say, do not bury him in the Muslim graveyard. He never used to pray. This is how severe it is. So be very careful with this action of worship. Be very careful in guarding over your 5 daily prayers. It is the first action that you will be questioned about on Yawm al-Qiyamah from all of your actions of worship. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. فيا عباد Allah, we have seen now how important it is to guard over the prayer. And now Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from His great blessing and virtue, has provided an opportunity for those who have been lazy and those who have been abandoning their rights of the religion to rectify their state and to correct themselves. The opportunity of Ramadan is around the corner. Only a few days remain before Ramadan will be upon us. Only a few days before this blessed month will arrive. If you are from those who have been lazy with your prayers and you have not been establishing them 5 times a day, then from now establish them and begin. Do not say when Ramadan comes I will pray all my prayers, then the other 11 months of the year you do nothing. The other 11 months of the year you do not touch the mushaf, you never open it up, anything. You never give in charity, you never come to the mosque, nothing for 11 months. Only in Ramadan, the Muslim is not a Muslim, only for Ramadan. The Muslim is a Muslim every day of his life. So if you have been lazy and the shaitan whispered to you and overcame you in this year since last Ramadan, then rectify from now. You do not even know if you will be alive when Ramadan comes next week. It is not a case of saying, I will begin later. I will begin when Ramadan comes. I'm making my plan. I'm going to read the Quran when Ramadan comes. Who has told you you will be alive next week when Ramadan comes? So rectify now when the opportunity comes to you. If you have not been praying, then begin praying now, as the opportunity is still there for you. If you have abandoned the Quran, made hajr of the Quran, not touched it since last Ramadan, then what a disaster and calamity. Begin now. Do not say that you are Muslim only for Ramadan and then finished. That is not what Allah commanded us with. So now your opportunity is here to begin and to rectify yourself and to fix yourselves up before Ramadan comes. And then in Ramadan, even more opportunity to increase in your iman, so that insha'Allah ta'ala after Ramadan, you continue with all of your worship, you continue with your prayers, you continue with the Quran, you continue with your charity, your fasting, and you do not end up in a state where you only do it for the month and then nothing after that. That is a sign that you have not been successful in your Ramadan. If you abandon everything afterwards, 11 months you do nothing, it is a sign you have not been successful. If you want to be successful and sincere, then begin from today. Begin from today with your prayers, with your Quran, with everything in preparation before Ramadan. And ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to aid you in rectification of yourself. You do not know when death will come upon you. And what will your records be on that day? Then what will be in your books on that day that the angels have written for you if you wasted your life and did not even pray, let alone any of the other actions? Fear that day. Every single thing you do will be there in your records. Every single thing will be recorded upon you. So now Allah gives you the opportunity again and again to rectify yourself whilst you are still alive. And this opportunity of Ramadan is around the corner. So rectify yourselves from now in preparation for Ramadan. The Salaf, they used to make dua 6 months before Ramadan came. 6 months before Ramadan came, they would make dua. Oh Allah, please let us live. Allow us to be alive at Ramadan. 6 months left yet. And they would make dua, Allah, please allow us to be alive for the next Ramadan, so that they can continue in their worship and ibadah and increase. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to rectify us, to make us strong in our iman, to be upon the practice of this religion, the establishment of the prayers, the reading of the Quran, and not to be weak, only practicing in Ramadan. That is not the way. وصلى الله على نبينا محمد. أعطني الصلاة.